Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Quranology Notes, a program on Quranology Institute's YouTube channel. Today I'd like to discuss Revelation from two perspectives, the historical perspective and the existential perspective. But before that, I'd like to say that everything we speak about Quran is our opinion about Quran. Now this may seem obvious, but there are people who speak about Quran as if they wrote Quran themselves. They will say, well, Quran says you must do this. Quran says you must do that. That's actually technically incorrect, although that's how people talk. The right way to say it is, in my reading, Quran tells us that. It's always in your reading because you are the reader. That should be a truism. But anyway, today we will speak about revelation, the concept of revelation in Quran. Quran is a remarkably self-referential text. It talks about itself all the time. But here's the thing, and I am about to say something which may put off a lot of people, but I have to say it because I feel it's true. Quran does not speak about its own coming. Now, what do I mean by this? It does not have any ayah which refers to traditionally Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad, receiving the text, especially not in a cave where Gabriel visited him and Gabriel said to him, Iqra, read, and he said, I can't read, etc. This is something which is from tradition. Could it be correct? I don't think so. But, people have traditions, and this is what they say. But what does Quran say about its own revelation? Well, from a traditional point of view, there are two verses which we will analyze today, and they say it is about Prophet Muhammad receiving Quran. The two verses are chapter 2, verse 185, and the entire chapter 97, verse 1, as well as the entire chapter 97, because it is quite short, 5 verses. In the first instance, the ayah goes, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان, etc., etc. It continues. And in this ayah, they say, okay, well, this is the first time Quran came down. It was in Ramadan. That's why traditional Muslims fast during Ramadan. Okay? Well, if this is true, then what happened to Quran coming down in one night? Also according to traditionalists, which is, they say it's chapter 97, Al-Qadr. They say, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr. Verily we descended it in the night of destiny. Hence, they're saying, okay, well, that is one night Quran came down, and then there's also Ramadan to consider. It came down in Ramadan. So this is a very poor reconciliation. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. But here's the thing. To me, Quran speaks about the eternal present. It speaks to the reader as if the reader is interacting with it as we speak. But the reader is never explicated as Prophet Muhammad. Why is that the case? Because it's not Prophet Muhammad. The reader is you and me and anyone who reads the text. And if we don't take this into account, what happens is Quran becomes a story about the past. And if you look at chapter 83, Al-Mutaffifin, verse 13, it tells you about those who say this is Asatirul Awwaleen, stories of the ancients. It tells you about such people. I'm not going to tell you today who those people are, but it's good for you to think about who they are. Okay, so now let's think about the existential perspective. In the existential perspective, we look at context and text itself. It's a very important thing. If you read from verse 183, it talks to those who believe. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. 184 أيام معدودة, etc., etc. Times counted days according to traditionalists. So these are commands given to us to fast. Where is Rasulullah in this? He's not even mentioned in the flow of the text. So it is really about us. And then it says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. In my reading, the intense period of Ramadan, the state of the intense period, which is شهر Ramadan, is when Quran comes down on us. Is when we have pushed ourselves in our siyam, our fast, that Allah descends a measure of the Quran. So we will come to understand, okay, well, you know what? I understood this part, and it's guidance for us. It's clarification of that guidance, and it will clearly separate between right and wrong. That is how Quran works. Can you see? It's actually very practical. You can easily practice it. And the next ayah is even more interesting because Muslims tend to quote it without actually reading its context. And they say, well, you know, this shows that God always grants your dua, your prayers. But actually, it's in the Ramadan context. See 186, it says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَعَنِّي قَرِيبٌ. Verily, when my servants inquire concerning me, say I am, not say it's not there, verily I am close. I am intimate with you. You see? So, we have a period where Allah is actually coming close to us. When? When we have pushed ourselves to Shahru Ramadan. It is about us. It is not about the Prophet. The Prophet had his time with it, but now he's gone. Now it is our turn. And what about chapter 97? Chapter 97 says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr. The Quran is not even mentioned there. It's talking about the huwiyah, huwa. Inna anzalnahu, huwa, huwiyah. And this refers to the pure opening of Allah's grace. Or it could refer to revelation as well. Quran is also talked about as huwa. So it comes down in the period of destiny, or the period of potential. Qadr, taqdeer is to give us a measure of potential. And Allah asks, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. And what will bring you or make you know what is Laylatul Qadr? Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. It is a night better than 1,000 months according to traditional interpretation. Why? تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالْرُوحُ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ. There will be a descent of the angels and the spirit, and they govern every affair. So it is almost like God takes over the state. And what is the result of that? Salamun hiya. Peace it is. Now notice, at first it starts with huwa, because it comes down in that active state. And in the end it becomes salamun hiya, because it descends peace in that passive state. So we have peace and we are in charge of that peace. But that peace is not long lasting. It says, Hatta matala'il fajr, until the rising of the dawn. So after that dawn breaks of that period and everything is sort of like settled down, that's when it stops. Sometimes people take over and they disrupt our peace. It happens. So you see, it is not a single occasion where the Prophet receives the book and that's it. Quran is not a dead text. The only thing is we must get over this idea that it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad brought it, but its revelation continues today. And that is the purpose of the existential reading. So I've obviously gone over 5 minutes. I'm coming to 10 minutes now. Thank you very much for viewing, and I would really appreciate your comments, because I have had some very constructive comments in the last few weeks, and they have really helped me see things in a better way. So many thanks for your viewing and your participation, and I hope to see you next week.